Elizabeth of Bavaria, popularly known as Sissi, was one of the most enigmatic, romantic, and complex figures of 19th century European royalty. Born on December 24th, 1837, in Munich, not yet part of the German Empire. She was the fourth daughter of Duke Maximilian of Bavaria and Princess Ludovica of Bavaria. Despite her noble lineage, her childhood was relatively free and carefree, a stark contrast to the rigid life of the imperial court to which she would later be thrust. Sissi's destiny changed radically when, at the age of 15, she accompanied her mother and sister Helena to Bad Ischl, where the latter was to be presented as a candidate for marriage to the young Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria. However, it was Sissi who captivated the monarch with her beauty, sweetness, and innocence. Just a few days later, Franz Joseph announced his intention to marry Elizabeth. The marriage took place in Vienna on April 24th, 1854, when Sissi was just 16 years old. Her arrival at the Vienna court was a brutal shock for the young empress. Life at court was strictly protocolary, governed by inflexible rules and an oppressive hierarchy. Elizabeth, accustomed to the freedom of the Bavarian forests, felt suffocated. Her mother-in-law, Archduchess Sophie, who was also her maternal aunt, controlled every aspect of her life, including her children's education, which was one of Sissi's greatest sources of pain. Her firstborn daughter, Sophie, died in infancy, increasing her sadness and sense of failure as a mother and as empress. As the years passed, Sissi began to develop an increasingly introspective and melancholic personality. She rejected the ceremonial role imposed on her by the court and began to withdraw from Vienna. She frequently traveled to places like Corfu, Madeira, and Hungary, seeking refuge in milder climates and less formal settings. It was during her stays in Hungary that she developed a strong attachment to the country and its people. She learned the language and became a staunch defender of the Hungarian cause within the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This closeness to Hungary was instrumental in the signing of the Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867, which led to the creation of the dual monarchy, and in which Sissi was crowned Queen of Hungary alongside Franz Joseph. Her relationship with the emperor was complex. Although there was love and mutual respect, there were also distances, silences, and absences. Sissi rejected political life, but she had key moments of influence, especially when she advocated for humanitarian or national causes, as in the Hungarian case. However, what most marked her life was a profound inner sadness, accentuated by the deaths of several loved ones and a growing obsession with her image and control over her body. Elizabeth was famous for her beauty, which she maintained with almost extreme discipline. She followed strict diets, rode horses for hours, and devoted several hours a day to caring for her long hair, which reached her ankles. This obsession with slimness in youth also reflected an attempt to control the only thing she felt belonged to her body. As the years passed, she refused to have her portraits taken and avoided public events, becoming an almost ghostly figure. Tragedy continued to mark her life. In 1889, her only son, Rudolph, the heir to the throne, died in dramatic circumstances alongside his mistress at the Mayerling hunting lodge, in what may have been a suicide pact. There are many versions of these deaths, and there is talk of conspiracies. This event plunged Sissi into a deep depression from which she never fully recovered. She wore black for the rest of her life and adopted nomadic existence, traveling constantly and avoiding the Viennese court as much as possible. The Empress's life came to a tragic end on September 10, 1898, when she was assassinated in Geneva by the Italian anarchist Luigi Licini. Although her death was a political act, the assassin had no personal motive against her. He was simply seeking a symbol of monarchical power. Sissi died suddenly, in the same unexpected and incomprehensible way she had lived for much of her life. Over time, Sissi became a legend. Her figure has been the subject of films, books, TV series, and musicals, often idealized as a romantic princess trapped in a world she didn't understand. However, behind the myth lies a profoundly modern, sensitive, and rebellious woman who fought to be free in a world that didn't allow her to be so. More than an empress, Sissi was a woman who became a symbol of beauty, of melancholy, of resilience, and above all, of a tireless search for identity and freedom in a gilded cage. If you enjoy my program, you can follow me on my YouTube channel for art and history outreach. Frank Fernandez Astoria,